Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is the Captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG. It's a beautiful 4th of July. God bless America and happy birthday. And we're going to blast off into some leaks from, you guessed it, Edge of Eternities. That's right. It's 4th of July. Not fireworks are not the only thing going off, as we get a couple spoilers from quote-unquote unscrupulous sources on Edge of Eternity. So before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Links down below will help. Links in the description, comments down below. Wow, is it too much caffeine? Too much caffeine. I like it. Anyhow, be a YouTube member like my boy Sawyer. It'll help you out. Links in the description. eBay TCG player. The Otaku shops down there. Let's not forget them little fellas. 10% off. Captain Clyde's the code. All your anime needs, check them out. They're sweet. So let's get into it. Now, our first one we have here is Ruinous Rage. 2 red and 1 sorcery, unfortunately. 3 damage to each opponent, or exile all artifacts, mana value 3 or less. This will be okay, probably in a constructed format of some kind. But I think this card's really going to shine in Commander because, well, kiss those mana rocks goodbye. It's only 3 mana. You can use it early to slow down the game because we all know how we love Commander games to go for 5, 12, 15, 25 hours. You know, the norm. So this is going to be pretty interesting, and some foils of these might be impressively priced. The next card we have is Cosmogrand Zenith. What if apparently that's the name, Cosmogrand Zenith, but that's someone's getting very, very bad at naming things. Anyway, a white and 2 mythic human soldier that is a 2/4, not legendary. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you get to choose one. Make 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. This thing is bananas. BANNNSABZW. Anyway, however you spell bananas. This thing is going to be huge in standard. It's going to be Commander All-Star. This might even see modern play at 3 mana just because of its ability to just, well, pretty much generate an army by itself and then make that army large and in charge. So, yeah, keep your eyes on this card. Moving on to our next card, we have the Pinnacle Starcage. 2 white and 1 for an artifact that when it enters, you exile all artifacts and creatures, mana value 2 or less, until this artifact leaves the battlefield. So, it's an artifact, not an enchantment, that kind of does the whole temporalysis thing or whatever it was. And that's cool. But I think the kicker to this one is for 2 white and 6, you put each card exiled with this artifact into its owner's graveyard, then create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each card put in the graveyard this way, and then you sacrifice the artifact. So it's almost, I mean, it's basically, whoops, sorry, hit the mic. It is basically a way to board wipe and then just make an army on your side. Yes, it's 8 white, but let's be fair. Azorius Control did pop up in the Pro Tour, and against aggro decks, this is definitely something they could put in that later could win them the game. Because not only does it get creatures, but it gets artifacts too. So if they're running some kind of weird artifact things going on over there, you could just bundle those bad boys up as well. Or you can put your own artifacts under here on purpose so that you can make an army later. You know, once you don't need them anymore. Things got possibilities, we'll say. Also, obviously, Commander All-Star. This is the white version of Eat All Your Mana Rocks, unlike the red version of Exile All Your Mana Rocks. And this one, unlike the red version, will just make you an army to kill your opponents with. So, yeah, pretty good rare. Moving on. Next, we have Consult the Star Chart. So, a blue and 1 rare instant with Kicker. Ooh, look at that. Kicker's back. So, you get to look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put one of those cards into your hand. If the spell was kicked, put 2 of those cards into your hand instead. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Now, this card is good and just gets better with time. I mean, on turn 2, who cares if you kick it? You pay 2 mana. You look at you. It's a 2 mana. What's that called? Card sleight of hand, where you look at the top 2 cards, one in your hand, one on the bottom. Every turn past that, you're now looking at 3 to pick one. And, well, if it gets to turn 4, it's also an instant on the end of your opponent's turn. If they decide not to do anything, for 4 mana, you can look at least 4 cards, put 2 in your hand. This is going to be the epitome of blue draw that goes into every blue deck moving forward. This includes Commander. I'll put this in my Commander deck because, well, it's just that good. It's going to be good in Standard for the Azorius control deck. Obviously, limited all-star, no questions about that. I mean, the one thing that bothers me is this could be good enough for a modern-style deck, but at 4 mana to get the full potential, maybe not, because also, Modern's not known for having, more than 4 lands, probably. So, this actually might fall short. However, Legacy and Vintage is a different story. This might actually be a player in those formats, which is weird. So, yeah. But, thanks to Commander, more than anything, Brawl, whatever, Pioneer, call it what you will, this is going to be a popular card. Especially when it's in Standard for the next 3 years. So, moving on, next we have, sorry about the pictures, is the best I could get it, the Infinite Guideline Station. Here is the 5-color card we talked about. It is WUBRG, one of every color, for a legendary artifact that just sits there. However, when it enters, you create a tap 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token for each multicolor permanent you control. So you could very well, on turn 5, lay this and get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, get 3 2/2s out of it. If you lay a multicolored permanent on turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. Which 5 mana for 3 2/2s is pretty good. And if you're doubling up, well, even better. And let's not forget, split cards are multicolored. So you could actually generate more than just 3 2/2 robot artifact creature tokens. And that may make this card very, very popular. Now, it also has the station ability. For those who don't remember what that is or haven't seen it yet, you tap another target creature you control, you put a charge counter equal to its power on this spacecraft, which is what it's called, Legendary Artifact Spacecraft. Stations, you can only do this as a sorcery, and it's an artifact creature when you get to 12+. You can see down here it says 12+. After you get to 12+, it becomes a 7/15 flyer that whenever it attacks, you draw a card for each multicolored permanent you control. Yes, this is one of them. So you're guaranteed to draw at least one. This thing is going to be huge in Commander, especially that this can now be your Commander. That's a new rule change that they made with this set. And this is going to be a deck. Now, how good will it be in Standard? Well, WUBRG's a little rough in Standard. But, in older formats, maybe not. But the whole station ability is not something that's really going to play into older formats. Because let's be fair, if I pumped 12 power worth of creatures into this card, I could have done 12 damage to my opponent. So, this feels more like a Commander-focused card. Now, moving on to Vote Out, we have a black and 3 sorcery with Convoke. If you don't know, Convoke is just you can tap a creature to help cast it. You get 1 colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. It is a sorcery, so you can't. It's not an instant. If it was an instant, it'd probably be a mythic at this point. But it destroys target creature. It'll probably be fine for some limited formats and maybe a commander or 2. Democracy is not always just. Good point. Now, the next card we have is Timeline Caller. This is very interesting. 2 black, 2 to Drix Warlock. Has haste. It says you may cast this card from your graveyard using its warp ability. Now, its warp ability is 1 black, pay 2 life. It says you may cast this card from your hand or graveyard for its warp cost. If you do, exile this creature at the beginning of your next end step. Then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. So, some of you may think, well, this is stupid. Well, hear me out. for a warp of 1. So on turn 1, you can make a 2/2 haster by paying 1 black and 2 life. This plays very well into a Death Shadow deck if you need to go this route to get extra damage across while still whacking your own life total. Also, you can warp it from your graveyard for 1 black, pay 2 life to get 2 damage in when you need it, and then it becomes exiled where you can cast it whenever you want, and becomes a permanent card with also has 2/2 haste. This seems to have a lot of potential for me, and I think this is going to be a huge ability moving forward, and this is going to be a pretty decent card. Now, we have Evando, the Waking Heaven. This is a land planet. Comes into play tapped. Taps for a green. It also has the station ability, so I guess it's a living planet station. Anyway, that you tap another creature you control, put a charge counter on it. When you get to 12, put a charge counter on it equal to its power, yada, yada, yada. When you get to 12 plus, for 1 green and tapping it, you get 1 green for every creature. Basically probably, I would say, fixed Gaia's Cradle almost. Mainly because you got to put a green into it. You still have to have your creatures. It takes forever to get to 12. It's going to be a great mythic for probably Pioneer for mono green. And also, probably some good shenanigans in Standard, I believe. Also, this is going to be great for Commander. So keep your eyes out. And if you happen to get one of these as a foil, or if it comes out pretty cheap to begin with, which none of the cards come out cheap anymore like they used to. But anyway, you might want to pick this up in foil. So the next card we have is Terra Symbiosis. So green and 2 for an enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this once each turn. Holy cow. This is going to be expensive for no other reason than counter decks in Commander. And if something like this becomes a thing in Standard, this is going to also be very popular as a playable card. So, yeah, I mean, doubling season, it's already green. Seems like a kind of auto-include. All right, next we have... that's it, sorry. So there you have it, guys. They're the cards that have squeaked through the fence, you'll say, as Wizards is trying to gatekeep this until July 8th for when the actual spoilers start. So, until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.